AI will not take your job, but people leveraging AI will.
Fewer people making the products, there'll be more product.
They're not sentient, it's not Skynet, it's not Terminator, so everyone can chill out about that.
They can. I'm sick and tired of seeing the Terminator on articles about AI.
Yeah. I mean,
and it absolutely will not stop, ever.
It's the meme that comes up over and over again, back to the James Cameron thing that we talked about, right? But
Right.
Because right now, no one's really seeing any sort of like monetary return on their investment.
My industry, it's going to become more individual and less team orientated. So fewer people to make the product.
What I'm seeing right now is the jobs for VFX companies have basically not the jobs themselves, but the amount of work that they need to do has taken on a different meaning.
I think what's really interesting with AI is how it can be really fast at doing things, but it doesn't necessarily, doesn't really know what it needs to do. And I think this is how, the job market, I think, is going to be impacted.
And before it required a lot of kind of manipulation of basic objects to do the things that AI is decent at doing. So for example, like even something as simple as panning, not very simple before, but now AI can do a lot of these things.
Yeah, I mean, big one. It's going to change basically every market in its own way. I mean, logistics is one thing, and the healthcare is another thing, and creative industries another thing, right? So it's all going to be different. But I think as long as you're curious and adaptive and embrace new technology, you're going to be relevant within your skill set, because AI has very little good automation in it. The AI tools are tools to for human creativity, for us to do things with them.
AI will not take your job, but people leveraging AI will. So there's going to be somebody, like I said on like this Photoshop thing, of someone that traditionally knows how to edit a photo, how to clone, and that takes a day. So somebody that knows how to use the generative AI part of Photoshop and can get it done in half an hour. Yeah. That person is going to be same set of skills, same understanding, need to know what overall compositionally something should look like, physically what something should look like, what the lighting should be, but they've just got a quicker technique of doing it, so they are going to be ahead.
Ships or plumbing, like electricians, the real jobs done by workers, that may be impacted because people tends to jump on the AI boat, and the stuff which will still need to be done 20 years, 30 years. Yes, robotics will intervene and you're going to have stuff done by robots. But, if you have an emergency or you don't have water or power, you still need an electrician or a plumber to come right away. So that is where I'm seeing actually the balance. And I think those jobs will still remain. And, if somebody thinks, hey, what will be the best paid job in 20 years, I will not be surprised a plumber to be, or an electrician.
Yeah, that's crossed my mind as well, because people haven't been training for those jobs as much as the more lucrative things like dentistry, doctors, lawyers,
things. So slowly, these visual effects companies are incorporating AI aspects into the movie production process, right? So that's really cool. Another excellent way, like AI is being used right now already for these companies, is for ideation and for proof of concepts. So about I want to say maybe 2 years ago, we were working with a team at DreamWorks to kind of do a proof of concept using AI for a short film. And that was basically taking an exponentially longer time than what it does today. We needed to basically film the actors and then transpose them into like some animations and like make.
Oh, right, I'm doing that today actually. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
I know how to do it. Yeah.
And be a lot more valuable and to their colleagues because they can do things quicker. And sometimes there's a chain of we're waiting for this person to finish this, so that person can do that, so that person can do that. If the first person can suddenly do what traditionally would have taken a day to do, and they can do it in a couple of hours, because everybody else can get their work done quicker. So that's it's worth learning, whatever field you're in, it's worth learning the AI equivalent and understanding which bits of the job you can do quicker and more cost effectively with AI, and which bits you need to keep the traditional methods for. And you're going to have that spectrum of knowledge, of the traditional knowledge, and then after you've got the traditional knowledge, understanding which bits you can replace with AI. That's how it's going to change the job market. So people, I think, even now, are looking for people that can do both. So one of the jobs that I got asked to go on, they liked the fact that I got traditional fashion, traditional styling, traditional photography, but I'm using a lot of AI, so I know how things should look and how to amend the AI models, and then also being able to do the Photoshop bit at the end for the bit that the AI model can't do.
Yeah, like I do find that whereas I would have gone to Lightroom or Photoshop just to do color adjustments, my AI images come out, as good as I think they can be without me having to apply an action or a LUT in Lightroom. So yeah, I
But
probably
you've trained your AI model to do that though, haven't you? Through personalization or style code and things like
that's
that.
right.
Whereas again, you need to, but you also needed to understand traditionally what you wanted to get to, and then understand the flow to actually train your model. Then that's what I mean.
Yeah. You know what I think with I think style reference codes are like the LUTs for photographers. Like if you just wanted to change your look, I think the modern way of doing that is using a style reference code, which I'm giving away for free, by the way. So if you want to click on the QR code that's on the screen right now, you can go and get my download pack for free. There you
go. There you go. Get that in there.
I was going to put that ad in anyway, so this is a good segue.
Jobs are not, you just learn skill set, apply skill set for 45 years, and then clock out. It's not like that anymore at all. I mean, the statistics have shown that people in their kind of mid-20s now will have 14 jobs over their career. 14 different jobs, sometimes of adjacent skill sets, but that really says something.
And today, for a simple proof of concept, right, we don't need to do all of that work. We just need to do simple prompting, or maybe take a couple images, do some image to videos, some neat stitching, and we'll be able to get a fully working like initial video, right? Because it doesn't need to be perfect. So I think with time, these things will get better and better. And even the creative like movie studios and stuff like that, their jobs will also become like trying to define where the endpoint is. So like getting from A to B is easy, but you have to figure out what B actually is. And that's where I think like more and more knowledge will go towards.
If we're going to get AI that's going to be able to code really well, and it's going to do a lot of the engineering job, that means, we're going to have fewer engineers theoretically on the team doing that. But, AI still doesn't seem to be able to, go in the direction of it's going to define a company strategy, and it's going to lay out with which features to build and what, how to, and really not just that. I think the question of which features needs to be built is actually the question, what problem I'm trying to solve, right? And I think what this means, like these problem-solving skills, these design skills are going to be even more important.
I think that there's going to be lots of new kinds of jobs. I think things are going to be different. Potentially, certain jobs are going to morph. Potentially, certain jobs are not going to exist. I mean, there have been these kind of predictions of, for example, AI taking a coder's job. Who knows? I still think there are coders out there making just as much bucks. So I think it's just gonna maybe create ease, and potentially that's something that is something we need when it comes to doing jobs, rather than being like, oh God, I have to go into work today. Maybe it's gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna go work today. So maybe that's how it's going to change the job market, and it's for better,
And I think the remote work and everything has just changed so much to just be of the mindset of, I want to do what I do now in exactly the same way as it's always been done. Bro, you're going to be hurt, and it's going to be bad for you. What can I say? It's not my fault or your fault. It's just the world evolving and becoming more dynamic.
But there'll be more stuff to make. So although it'll be fewer people making the products, there'll be more products. So I think there's an offset there. Where it will fall, who knows? So I think people need to reskill, and that's why I try. Often I get shot as a messenger, but I try to tell people in my industry and other surrounding industries like VFX and filmmaking, is to get your head around this stuff, because it's definitely coming, and those that have got some knowledge and skill in it will
thinking about the higher abstraction level of what is the problem I'm trying to solve, how I'm going to solve it, what are the steps to that, kind of having this mindset, that I think is, in a way, it's a very engineering mindset. It's like still, it's coming up with architectures and figuring out solutions and trying to fit these things together. But I think less reliant on being able to write the code itself, and I think at the end of the day, because I think as soon as because we have a lot of competition in the market, customers' expectations increase, and I think that at the end means that there probably is going to be work for all those engineers as well. It just means that everybody's going to have create more, and that's going to be because we're going to have to compete with those companies that are putting out more great stuff, and it's not going to be by having people write more code, write faster code, but it's going to be by solving more problems with the same amount of people you already have. And I think that's how it's going to change, at least in like the software, but I think might also apply to other industries as well.
Because right now, no one's really seeing any sort of like monetary like return on their investment on AI. So will AI do these things? Yes or no? Who knows? But I think we're still considering AI working in a traditional business. What happens when, that's what I'm interested in, what happens when the AI is the CEO and it can control a whole bunch of AIs that can then hand off to humans and back again? Like, we're going to see business in a way that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, so I've got two young kids. My 15-year-old is just coming to take his GCSEs this year, and it's very hard as a parent to advise your kids about where to go next. When I was a kid, you could have said to your kids, get into computing, and that's a pretty solid career back then. You knew that was going to be around for that long, but I wouldn't advise my kids to get into programming now. Claude's going to
it's pretty good.
do a better job than them, I think. And who knows if there'll be any programming around in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So it's difficult as a parent to ask that. But weirdly, the thing that we were all told to get out of skilled manual labor jobs like plumbing and stuff like that, they're going to be the things that seem to be the last to fall to AI, because robots are going to have to be pretty sophisticated to get around the Victorian plumbing that exists in most people's houses. So yeah, it's difficult to sort of know what to advise. What I would advise people is to be agile, to not be too fixed in what they're doing, and to be flexible with change. That is, and adaptable. These are the things that are going to be really prioritized, and creative. Creativity is still a thing that AI relies on humans to make into longer form things. It can make an image by itself, but it can't make a compelling story at present and put it together in a way that's satisfying for human beings. It takes another human being to do that. And I think equally, people will always be invested in human beings. We could go to the Olympics now and watch robots lift the heaviest weight you've ever seen, but people don't want to see that. They want to see human beings struggling and human beings telling their story and showing their skills. So I think creativity is still something to count on, at least for perhaps our lifetimes or the short term.
And also, like, I also think that super intelligence might understand creativity and human emotion maybe even better than we do, because when I speak to ChatGPT about psychological issues, which I've read about quite a bit, I never find it gives me an answer that I'm like, I think that's ADHD, that's depression, I think it's mixing up the two. That never really happens. It's almost always a good answer, which is why I think maybe it could understand it better than us.